Hi everybody, Tower Simulator with Tower Companion here once again. Pressing on, I'm going to really try to get to level 20 because that's really my target here. Trying to do this all before hopefully the May 25th deadline because I'd like to get maybe digging into the challenge creator a little bit and seeing what I can do there. And play around a little bit and see what it would really take to get a workable schedule. If you've seen some of the more recent videos where I tried a couple of them, I tried the Manic Monday, which I told you to stay away from, and then I tried Stuttgart. I haven't done anything since then, but I think the schedules will require some manual editing for them to work. So you're going to have to do things outside. But I'm definitely going to strive to really put something solid out into the ecosystem if I'm going to do that. So that may mean that there's still some manual work that needs to happen as opposed to just simply using things. I do not expect that people will do that regularly, so I'm certainly not going to hold it to a standard, but to be able to give feature requests of, hey, this is what I did manually to get a challenge that really was solid. I want to make sure that I know what steps I took and probably try to do it more than once to make it work. But right now, we're level 12. We just got to level 12, so we've got to get all the way through 12, 75 points. So let me explain kind of what my thought is here if I go to the log. So the way these points come in is basically as you get things down here. So I think as we get more achievements and we do other pieces, it's going to help. So the first thing I learned from the last episode, don't use user-created airports for this, because basically any flights that are done at those airports aren't counted. So all the ones I did at Miami, basically I lost those other than what I got as general, but they're in essence double counted if I'm using a legit airport. The other thing, I'm not quite sure if we get any bonus points. I don't think we do if we unlock an achievement. But I think to some degree it might help a little bit because, see, like I wonder if we get to a bronze or something. Because right now, well, I'm not sure because they all unlock, and I think they unlock at different points, but then they're all silver at 500. But if I do a smaller airport that only needs 25, which is a significant amount of them, I'm tempted to do something in Cincinnati. Actually, if we had Louisville, but Louisville isn't an airport in the game, because Louisville is a UPS hub. So that would get us a lot of cargo flights. I could not get the word out. Sorry about that. TIST is the first airport you start at, like the first career challenge. That's that tiny little airport in St. Thomas, but I don't think there's going to be a lot going on there. I'm also interested in maybe getting the Middle East specialist opened up as well, which would mean I'd need to do a Middle East airport, which if I go here, I've only got OMDB and VIDP, so let me go look at that, because I'm also thinking those might be smaller. Let me look. OMDB, VIDP. Okay, VIDP, okay, Delhi we already did, so, alright, so we need 100. What about OMDB at Dubai? OMDB. It is hard to find these. There it is. I still need 100, so not sure I want to tackle that right straight away at this point. So let me go look at the airports button, and this will again pull things in real time. So if I go down, because I know that's right, like that's 37, but it's nighttime. So if I can get something, this is at least a little bit. Now this is a again, user-created airport, so I want to stay away from that. Yeah, this one might be okay. Umberto Delgado. Yeah, really early morning, just after midnight. Here's TIST, but you can see, you know, we're going to get 12 flights, so it's going to take a while. I mean, we could zip through it quickly, but we're not even going to unlock anything. I think we're going to go with this and see what we can do here. So, a couple changes I've made to the general game settings that I think are honestly going to help. Because if you remember at Miami, I'm waiting for arrivals. And I've been saying this for everything. I'm waiting for arrivals. I'm waiting for arrivals. And then when I had the runways and the crossing runways, I keep getting the errors that things are, you know, conflicting. And I'm like, well, they're parallel runways. What's going on? So I was able to set the parallel runway distance from 3,400, which is the default, to, all right, 10.3. So we're barely into the hard. This shouldn't be that difficult. I think it's going to get us down then to fewer here. So we're probably going to lose 3. So we're going to remove flights. So we're going to get 38 here. So if this is a smaller airport, it'll unlock. If not, it'll be what it'll be. But see, there's like 3 arrivals, and they're all coming in together. And so the benefit ends up being, first off, let me look up this airport, see if I can get any kind of information on what is... Okay, so departure and arrival are 02. It's probably just got one runway, which is fine. Let's see. So I want to go to charts, airport. Yep, it's just got one runway, which is fine. All right, so let me start the game up. All right, so we're going to try this one as a small one. I still have 12 schedules of my 20, so now I have 11, because obviously I've just done one here. So again, we want to get to 1750, which is going to be 5:50 in the evening. I want to get Nigeris. We're going to do runway 02. All right, so I think I'm going to be able to just handle it from here. It's a very small airport, not very large at all. So I'm thinking this should certainly be a 25 airport. But the other couple changes I've made, I didn't mean to stop it, sorry. I changed the distance, which I think is what approach will do.
203 heavy with information kilo. Requesting push and start.
Air Portugal 203 heavy, pushback approved, expect runway 02.
Pushback approved, expect runway 02. Air Portugal 203 heavy.
So basically the way the approach staggers them, because again, we were able to set, and let me change this here, because we can do separation of 3. Whoops. But outside them coming in, because I've always talked about, like right now I've got 3 flights that should be approaching. I've adjusted that from 2.5 miles to 1 mile. So hopefully, like there's 3 flights that are supposed to be approaching at 17:55. So I'm hoping they start coming in quicker. They may or may not, but I'm hoping some of this will then allow my chasing of how much I can really get done in a schedule to be a little bit different. So we shall see. And then the other thing I did is I did group call sign, which I think means for, like, if this was 288, which I think is a flight I'm going to have in a little bit, it would say 288, where right now I had that off, and then I think it does 288 every time. And that just takes longer, so that stacks the calls. So as I get very busy, that will be a problem too.
Lisbon ground, Air Portugal 203 heavy ready to taxi.
Air Portugal 203 heavy, taxi to runway 2.
Negative, runway not found. Air Portugal 203 heavy.
Air Portugal 203 heavy, taxi to runway 02. Okay, so I got to do the 02.
Air Portugal 203 heavy.
Which makes sense. I mean, that's the proper way to do it. Air France 69, Papa Hotel, runway 02, cleared to land. So again, there you go. It wouldn't have said...
Runway 02, clear to land.
And
Airframe
now
69
the other
Hotel.
one is approaching. There is the other 1755 that is scheduled. This was also 1755, just so you're aware. I should have no trouble getting this done in an hour with 38 flights. I mean, I get it's 10, about 10 or so per minute, but... And it actually lowered it when it took the 3 out, so we're technically in medium difficulty again, like we were with Miami. But yeah, there's not a lot around here. I mean, again, we got 3 flights here, 3 flights here. Looks like we just got 1 more here, so a couple there. Yeah, so the only challenge could be it could get more difficult to land things, but I think they're still going to have a separation of 3 miles. But the thing is, when they come in, when I do an airport that has parallels again, we should stop getting the conflicts that they're like, ooh, you've got a collision in the air, or, you know, you've broken a rule. Airport Portugal 203 Heavy, runway 02. Oops. Air Portugal 203 Heavy, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff upon reaching altitude 500, contact departure. Alright.
Runway 02, cleared for immediate
Usually an
takeoff
arrival
reaching altitude 500,
will be my
contact
first
departure. Air Portugal
handled
203 Heavy.
airplane. Alright, so yes, now I have 2 approaching even though I have 1 runway, and I think that has changed it, because otherwise it would maintain 2.5 mile separation there. This way they can come in, and what I'm hoping then is I don't get as far behind, because my next approach should be 1800,
Lisbon Tower,
which is
Speedbird
about
5
now.
Lima India on final 02.
Speedbird 5 Lima India, runway 02, cleared to land.
Runway 02, cleared to land. Speedbird 5 Lima India.
So I would love to say that we're getting some spotter things, but we're not. Alright, so nothing departing. Well, we should get a departing calling in at some point here. There is an 1800 as well, so we'll see. But we're taking off there.
Lisbon ground, Air
There we go.
Portugal 1932 with information kilo, requesting push and start.
Air Portugal 1932, pushback approved, expect runway 02. Alright, and that'll be
Pushback approved, expect
real
runway
quick
02,
then.
Air Portugal 1932.
But, you know, evening in Portugal. I'm thinking that's the Atlantic Ocean there. I don't know for sure. Well, there's a bridge, so there's some island over there, but that doesn't mean that that still can't be the ocean. Alright, because yeah, we've got 3 at 1810. Well, now a couple of those are departing, so there's 5 arrivals very quickly, and they take me through 1810. So if I can get 5 planes done in the next 10 minutes, because basically it's 15 minutes, you know, then we're in decent shape for moving things through. So we'll see. So there's a second one approaching, which is the 1800, which is about a minute late, but it's not bad. You know, it's better than getting things an hour late. And so what I'm hoping is those changes eliminate that bottleneck that I was seeing with arrivals.
Lisbon Tower, Transavia 47 Whiskey on final 02.
Transavia 47 Whiskey, runway 02, cleared to land.
Runway 02, cleared to land.
See, and it's
Transavia 47 Whiskey.
because it'll be, especially like with, you know, 1932 instead of 19 or 32. 1932 is much faster. It rolls off quicker. So I'm hoping
Lisbon ground,
they
Air Portugal
clear.
1932 ready to taxi.
Air Portugal 1932, taxi to runway 02. Alright, so
Taxi to runway 02.
we've
Air
got
Portugal
this one coming
1932.
in. And now, you know, we're going to obviously have the challenge of things taxiing in, but I don't think there's that much. You know, there's going to be a couple planes again at 1810 that are departing, is what I see in Tower Companion. I'm not sure what that building is. It's a stadium of some sort. Guessing it's like a soccer stadium or something. That's what I would think. So we're just going to have to see where this goes. I don't know that I'll be able to get this off. I don't think so. He's taking a long time to get there. Is he ever going to stop rolling? Alright. Air France 69, Papa Hotel, taxi to terminal. Alright, so they're going somewhere where no one is, so we'll just let them sit that way. You know, the biggest challenge, I don't know that we're going to have a lot of conflicts unless we're going to have planes trying to leave here and here. You know, that's where our groupings are. Everybody else is spread out pretty nicely, so... Oh, he went a long way up, but that's okay. Yeah. Air Portugal 1932, runway 02, line up and wait. So we'll just get him out there, because, yeah, there's no
runway
way.
02, line up and wait. Air Portugal 1932.
But I definitely want to get him
Lisbon Tower,
there.
Air Portugal 288 heavy on final 02.
Air Portugal 288 heavy, runway 02, cleared to land. So that's the 1800 that basically called in at 1803.
Air Portugal 288 heavy.
And once again, 1800 is when they're expected to hit our airspace. So, so that's okay. Yeah, so, like, if I had given it a clearance, like, yeah, this would be a problem. So that's the British Airways, Speedbird. But, yeah, the only thing I don't like is they do kind of come in really low over things. But, you know, and it doesn't look like we can get them any closer than this. But when we have multiple runways again, like, that will make it easier. And, again, this is probably a little bit more realistic. But to avoid hecticness, I'm sure people, you know, do other things. You know, so again, are they a mile away? Could I, you know, I probably need to let him report that he landed before I give him clearance to avoid any kind of conflict. Well, I can keep looking there. Air Portugal 1932, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff upon reaching altitude 500, contact departure. And again, I can shorten that call a little bit by giving him the departure later.
Altitude 500, contact departure. Air Portugal 1932.
Speedbird 5, Lima, India, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Speedbird 5, Lima, India.
Alright. So, again, no planes that they could come in conflict with. It's all good stuff. So, very easy here in Lisbon this afternoon. Alright. So, just two-handled, because nobody's parked yet. And now, again, the departures will come in quickly, because they're sitting at the gate. They're just going to call for clearance, and they're just going to go. So, again, those are Ryanair. I see a couple Ryanair. I'm not sure if these are Air Portugal or not. That's EasyJet, so that'll be easy. This, again, yeah, Air Portugal. So, and it would make sense in Portugal that we have a few Air Portugals. So I'm assuming this is another one, since that's where Air Portugal 1932 came from. And, yeah, like right now. So I'm going to be curious, because now we have had time. So my next arrival should be 1810, which is about 3.5 minutes from now. I'm going to see if it's going to appear on the scope right away. Transavia 47 Whiskey, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Transavia 47
So
Whiskey.
this could potentially be a problem, but it does take them a long time. So if someone, I mean, Air France still hasn't parked, for goodness sakes. Alright, so we got 3 of 38. Once we get, well, it's really going to be the British Airways, the Speedbird parking, because we don't have anybody even cleared to leave yet. So, suppose we can move things up, because nothing's going to happen for a while. We'll just, I don't want to avoid any, I want to try to do something perfectly, where I have no penalties, where everyone comes in on time. That would be great. Air Portugal 288, taxi to terminal. Alright, so
Negative.
that one.
I'm on the ground. Air Portugal 288 heavy.
Yeah. Air Portugal 288 heavy, taxi to terminal. I don't know what it thought I said, but...
Taxi to terminal. Air Portugal 288 heavy.
Alright. I'm like, is it going to work or not? He's actually going very quickly. So this taxiway obviously has some speed where some of the others don't. So again, I could have a potential problem with that one pulling out. But we'll see. Because yeah, we're at 1809. So let's speed up a bit here. And when I get really close to 18... So, there we go. Now we're at 1810. We should have things calling in.
Ryanair 25 Zulu Juliet with information Lima. Requesting push and start.
Ryanair 25 Zulu Juliet, pushback approved. Expect runway 02. Alright, so this can now be a potential problem. Because they may be delayed, but we'll see. And then... and again, the approaching, it is approaching the 1810. So it immediately showed up, which is what wasn't happening before.
Lisbon ground. Air Portugal 440 with information Lima. Requesting push and start.
Transavia 47 Whiskey, hold position. Air Portugal 440, pushback approved, expect runway 02. So yeah, unfortunately we're probably going to have some delay.
Transavia 47 Whiskey. Pushback approved,
Because what I didn't want was, again, a conflict. Transavia 47 Whiskey, continue taxi. See, I could have sent him around that way.
Transavia 47 Whiskey.
So I won't have a perfect. I've got a 24-second delay. I'm going to have to watch this one too. Alright, so I think we'll be fine. It should be in the pathway. I think it's still going to be a delay, but we'll see how it comes out.
Ryanair 25 Zulu Juliet ready to taxi.
Alright, I was going to say, if it doesn't start rotating soon, Ryanair 25 Zulu Juliet, taxi to runway 02.
Taxi to runway 02, Ryanair 25 Zulu Juliet.
Alright, and then obviously this one will start moving right away. And if they had, like, stopped on their own, that's what I'm going to take a look. Like, do I get a delay? I'm sure I do, because if I could have routed them some other way, which I certainly could have, but and this is what I said, like, we're going to have potential conflicts, but we had one here where I really thought we'd have a lot of room.
Ready to taxi.
Air Portugal 440, taxi to runway 02.
Taxi to runway 02. Air Portugal 440.
Lisbon Tower, Alpine 7650 on final 02.
Alpine 7650, runway 02, cleared to land.
Runway 02, cleared to land. Alpine 7650.
Ryanair 25 Zulu Juliet, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff upon reaching altitude 500. Contact departure.
Runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff. On reaching altitude 500, contact departure. Ryanair 25 Zulu Juliet.
Okay, so there they go. They're parking. Ryanair is done. They're done. So 6 of 38 right now. Will be 7 of 38 in a moment. So we are now basically 20% complete. Again, what I didn't see with the Ryanair, or not the Ryanair, I think that was Transavia. I don't know, maybe it was there. It doesn't matter who it was. Whoever parked there. I know I had a 24-second delay, but I didn't take a peek and see if I had more. And similarly, I didn't see if he was classified with a delay either. So we're going to have, again, one arrival.
Ryanair 13 Quebec Echo with information Lima, requesting push and start.
Ryanair 13 Quebec Echo, pushback approved, expect runway 02. Air Portugal 440, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff upon reaching altitude 500, contact departure. I would think that's far enough away.
Pushback approved, expect runway 02.
So,
Ryanair 13 Quebec Echo.
Runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff. On reaching altitude 500, contact departure. Air Portugal 440.
Transavia 9er Lima, pushback approved, expect runway 02.
Pushback approved, expect runway 02. Transavia 9er Lima.
Alright.
Lisbon ground. Transavia 9er Lima with information Lima, requesting push and start.
Alright, so yeah, so plenty of time, because he's probably just crossing onto land there. I assume he's going to turn and face
Lisbon
that
ground.
way.
Air Portugal 5 Mike Delta with information Lima, requesting push and start.
Air Portugal 5 Mike Delta, pushback approved, expect runway 02.
Pushback
Right.
approved, expect runway 02. Air Portugal 5 Mike Delta.
Oh, there must have been something else that parked, because now it said 7. Oh no, we had that other takeoff is what happened. Alright, because this is now 8 with Air Portugal leaving. And now he'll be coming in before anything else gets anywhere near the runway. Probably going to, again, have some delays here. So, unfortunately...
Ryanair 13 Quebec Echo ready to taxi.
Ryanair 13 Quebec Echo, taxi to runway 02. And then
Taxi
again,
to runway
the
02.
Transavia
Ryanair 13
will
Quebec
call, and then we'll obviously have the Air Portugal. Question is, will the Transavia be there? I think Ryanair will have gone by already. So yes, the 1815 is approaching. So at 1825, there are at least 4 that
Lisbon
are supposed
ground.
to be approaching.
Transavia 9er Lima ready to taxi.
Transavia 9er Lima, taxi to runway 02.
Taxi to runway 02. Transavia 9er Lima.
Okay, and again, we've got
Lisbon
all
Tower,
these 3.
Air Portugal 435 on final 02.
Air Portugal 435, runway 02, cleared to land.
Runway 02, cleared to land. Air Portugal 435.
Lisbon ground. Air Portugal 5 Mike Delta ready to taxi.
Alpine 7650, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal.
Air Portugal
Alpine
5 Mike
7650.
Delta, taxi to runway 02.
Taxi to runway 02. Air Portugal 5 Mike Delta.
Now we're going to see who... Because Transavia is moving. Ryanair 13 Quebec Echo, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff upon reaching altitude 500, contact departure.
Runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff on reaching altitude 500. Contact departure. Pioneer 13 Quebec Echo.
Alright, so the Transavia should be good. Transavia 9er Lima, runway 02, line up and wait.
Runway 02, line up and wait. Transavia 9er Lima.
Air Portugal 5, Mike Delta, runway 02, line up and wait. I'm going to see if that just
Runway
gives
02,
me
line up and wait. Air
any
Portugal
kind
5,
of
Mike Delta.
better result here. I'm not sure that it will, but we're going to give it a try. Okay, so EasyJet is likely coming way over here. Again, the question is EasyJet going to push out? I'm not seeing it on my list, so I think we'll be okay. We'll easily get both of these off. But yeah, I'm just wondering, like, I'm going to have to watch that one if I can. Transavia 9er Lima, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff upon reaching altitude 500, contact departure. Okay,
Runway
so no
02,
delay on
cleared for
that
immediate
plane right
takeoff
now.
On reaching altitude 500, contact departure. Transavia 9er
Because, yeah, I've
Lima.
never really tried this, but if I just tell them all line up and wait, they can just keep going, and I don't have to go back to them. Oh, I have a legendary coming up for a spotter. That is awesome. So I was at like 179. We're gonna see where we go. Air Portugal 67, November Papa, pushback approved. Expect runway 02.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 02. Air Portugal 67 November Papa.
Air Portugal 5, Mike Delta, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff upon reaching altitude 500, contact departure.
Runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff on reaching altitude 500. Contact departure. Air Portugal 5, Mike Delta.
Okay, just making sure nothing's doing anything strange, and yes, it is not counting a delay there, so that may be the way to get things to count. So, I don't see any other departures. It could be 1830, which is about 9 minutes from now, but after this Air Portugal, we've got several arrivals scheduled. 4 coming in at 1825, and I see at least 2 at 1830. So this one that's coming in is an 1815. So that's the thing, it takes like 6 minutes for them to get this far. 7 minutes. Because it's almost 1822. Like, he'll probably be landing close to 1822. So we'll just leave it right now. It's going to get crazy.
67 November Papa, ready to taxi.
Air Portugal 67 November Papa, taxi to runway 02. Okay, good news is
Taxi to
these are
runway
gone.
02.
Bad
Air
news
Portugal
is
67 November Papa.
the bad news is we have you know, 2 of these and 4 planes coming in that could certainly get sent there. All right, so he's still going there. All right, let me speed it up a tiny bit just to gain a little bit of time. But again, I don't want any delays. So when he's cleared, I want to try to get him off.
Lisbon Tower, Air Portugal 1017 on final 02.
Air Portugal 1017, runway 02, cleared to land. And this is a 1820.
Runway 02, clear to land. Air Portugal 1017.
Air Portugal 435, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Air Portugal 435.
All right. So again, I should probably look, because if I can send him around, so Kilo Tango is what I want. So, and what I'm looking at is I can get that EasyJet here, and then if the other one is still coming in, like if he calls in to leave, but he won't because I don't have things for 10 minutes. Whoops. Air Portugal 67 November Papa, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff upon reaching altitude 500. Contact departure. So I had a 12-second delay.
Runway 02,
Terrible.
cleared for immediate takeoff on reaching altitude 500. Contact departure. Air Portugal 67 November Papa.
Yeah, so there is a Air Azores that is a legendary livery. So I would imagine that's going to be a good amount of points on my plane spotting. There's a common, which I don't think gets us anything, but a lot of them don't have anything listed. So, but yeah, it's like glowing. I'll show it to you. Look at that. It's like pulsing, so that I see it. And there aren't. I think there's like maybe 50 legendary. There may be less. So that's awesome to be able to get that. So yeah, I kind of messed myself up when I sped things up because that plane got there and I was then worried about him, and so cost myself 12 seconds, and again, probably a plane that doesn't count as on time because it is delayed. Alright, so 1825, which is coming up in 15 seconds, but they're just going to be approaching then, I think. So, yeah, so it's only approaching 1. Yeah, we have a lot of arrivals. There's no departure now till 1835. So, only 1 approaching right now, even though there's 4 that come in at 1825. So we're still waiting. Still just 1. I'm not liking that part of it. Okay, now there's 2. Alright, so that Air Portugal's nearly there.
Lisbon Tower, France Soleil 65 Juliet Kilo on final 02.
France Soleil 65 Juliet Kilo, runway 02, cleared to land. So
Runway 02.
France Sun, I
France
think, is
Soleil 65
basically
Juliet
what that
Kilo.
is. Alright, so Air Portugal, we are now 13 of 38, so we are over a third done. Air Portugal 1017, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal.
Right.
Air Portugal 1017.
I was gonna say, there's nobody here. It's just this EasyJet, which I think is, or maybe that's Alpine. Because I think it does say EasyJet on it, but I think their call sign is Alpine. So yeah, we've just got a bunch of arrivals coming in. So, we'll
Lisbon
see.
Tower, Easy 92 Lima Tango on final 02.
Easy 92 Lima Tango, runway 02, cleared to land.
Runway 02, cleared to land. Easy 92 Lima Tango.
So we must... Oh no, we had 13 of 38. I'm like, we've got like 3 planes that just cleared, because I thought I was at 11, so I'm just a fool. Okay, still just 1 approaching. Now we're at 1830, where 3 more will be approaching. So, this is where it's a little bit
Lisbon
dangerous.
Tower, Alpine 72 Foxtrot Whiskey on final 02.
Alpine 72, Foxtrot Whiskey, runway 02, cleared to land. See, so I think the
Runway 02,
sequencing...
clear to land. Alpine 72 Foxtrot Whiskey.
So, like, the 1830s aren't coming in yet. The 1830... There's only 1 at 1835, so we can still stack things in ways that become difficult. So it's a Vueling is the last one that's coming in at 1825, and then the first 1830 is the legendary Air Azores. So absolutely want to get that one. So don't want to have any failure. All right. France Soleil 65 Juliet Kilo, taxi to terminal.
Taxi
Right.
to terminal.
So
Red
they're
Solero
getting in
65
there, but
Juliet
that's
Kilo.
this one. These are now clear. These two still need to go. So I think it's these two and this one is all I've got left. Everybody else are arrivals that we've had, so we just have a lot of arrivals here in the afternoon in Lisbon. Alright, the Air Azores is approaching.
Lisbon Tower, Vueling 2 Delta Tango on final 02.
Vueling 2 Delta Tango, runway 02, cleared to land. Okay, we are now at 1833.
Runway 02, cleared to land. Vueling 2 Delta Tango.
So we don't have the other 1830 approaching yet, so not good. Alright. So I'm sure he's going to come way down here, so he might still cause me a problem.
Lisbon ground. Alpine 38 Kilo Papa with information Lima. Requesting push and start.
Alpine 38 Kilo Papa, pushback approved, expect runway 02. Alright, he's going to have time to get out of here.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 02. Alpine 38 Kilo Papa.
Easy 92 Lima Tango, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal.
Alright, and they're
Easy
not...
92 Lima Tango.
They're not even going there. Alright, so we do have the other 1830, but now we're at 1835.
Lisbon Tower, Air
And then
Azores
we have...
4012 on final 02.
Alright, that's the magic one. Air Azores 4012, runway 02, cleared to land. Alright, so...
Runway 02.
Unless he
clear to
crashes,
land. Air
there
Azores
should be
4012.
nothing that will stop me from getting him. But no other great schedules or anything. So, yeah, but I've still got 2 scheduled aircraft and 1 more that's approaching that, like, aren't here yet that should have been. So that's the thing. They're like... So we are still getting stacked. So on a single runway airport, we do have a little bit of difficulty. No, I'm like, where did he go? Like, I know we have something.
Lisbon ground. Alpine 38 Kilo Papa ready to taxi.
Alpine 38 Kilo Papa, taxi to runway 02.
Taxi to runway 02. Alpine 38 Kilo Papa.
Okay, the 2 1830s are now approaching. Alright, this one is Alpine 72 Foxtrot Whiskey, taxi to terminal. Alright, so they are... Okay.
Taxi to terminal. Alpine 72 Foxtrot Whiskey.
But yeah, nobody's even going. Well, I guess potentially there's a conflict, so we'll have to keep an eye out.
Lisbon Tower, Air Portugal 1542 on final 02.
Air Portugal 1542, runway 02, cleared to land. So
Runway
he's going
02,
pretty slow.
cleared to land.
We'll just
Air
make
Portugal
sure that he
1542.
stays that slow. Okay, so the Alpine 72 Foxtrot Whiskey is the common. But yeah, these should be by, so we're good. I just don't know that I can clear. Because right now, again, he's kind of over the water. Where if it was there, that would be one thing, but he's not there. Okay, we've got 3 departures getting ready to go, so we're going to pretty much get rid of all the other planes, I think. EasyJet 38 Kilo Papa, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff upon reaching altitude 500, contact departure. Vueling 2 Delta Tango, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Vueling 2 Delta Tango.
Alright. It's a little tighter than I'd like, but we had plenty of time before, so we should be fine. But everybody's parking over here. And I'm sure it has to do maybe where they're coming from. Did it not clear? EasyJet 38 Kilo Papa, line up and wait.
Negative. Unknown command. Easy 92 Lima Tango.
Alpine 38 Kilo Papa, runway 02, line up and wait. What is it doing?
Runway 02. Line up and wait. Alpine 38 kilo per.
So somehow it
Lisbon
didn't
Tower,
get cleared.
Air Portugal 1558 on final 02.
So at this point, it's too late. I think I called him EasyJet is the problem. The first time when I thought I had cleared him. Air Portugal 1558, runway 02, cleared to land.
Runway 02, cleared to land.
All
Air
right.
Portugal 1558.
Let's take a look at this, because he's big, he's important, he's legendary.
Lisbon ground. Air Portugal 934 with information mic. Requesting push and start.
So I may get closer. Alright. Air Portugal 934, pushback approved, expect runway 02. Okay, I'm glad it's... I don't know, I guess it wouldn't matter.
Runway 02. Air Portugal 934.
Can I get a better look here? I probably just need to get lower or get closer.
Lisbon ground.
Yeah, I don't know.
59 Zulu with information
Maybe it's
mic.
just because it's
Requesting push and
Azores.
start.
Where is he? Speedbird 59 Zulu, pushback approved, expect runway 02.
Pushback approved, expect runway 02. Speedbird 59 Zulu.
Air Azores 4012, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Air Azores 4012.
Alpine 38 Kilo Papa, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff upon reaching altitude 500, contact departure.
Runway 02. Cleared for immediate takeoff. On reaching altitude 500, contact departure. Alpine 38 kilo per.
Lisbon Tower, Air Portugal 1439 on final 02.
Air Portugal 1439, runway 02, cleared to land. Let me get myself repositioned
Runway 02,
here.
cleared to
Now,
land.
I swear that
Air Portugal
Speedbird came
1439.
in. So, I mean, it may have turned around that quickly, but that's kind of strange.
Lisbon ground. Transavia 28 Lima with information mic. Requesting push and start.
Transavia 28 Lima, pushback approved, expect runway 02.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 02. Transavia 28 Lima. Lisbon ground. Air Portugal 934 ready to taxi.
Air Portugal 934, runway 02, taxi. That was a bad command.
Negative. Invalid target. Air Portugal 934.
Air Portugal 934, taxi to runway 02. That was like a terrible call.
Taxi to runway 02. Air Portugal 934.
Alright, well, at this point, because, yeah, he's going to back out. The other one's going in the gate over there. So, it should be fine.
Lisbon ground. Speedbird 59 Zulu ready to taxi.
Speedbird 59 Zulu, taxi to runway 02. Alright, he's going an
Taxi to
interesting
runway
way.
02. Speedbird 59 Zulu.
I want to keep an eye on where he's going. But yeah, he should be back plenty far, and this Vueling, I think, will get in before, so that will be good. Alright, so 1840s are approaching.
Lisbon
Right.
Tower, KLM 27 Golf on final 02.
KLM 27 Golf, runway 02, cleared to land. Air Portugal 934, runway 02, line up and wait. Whoops.
Runway 02. Clear to land.
Air
KLM
Portugal
27 Golf.
1542, taxi to terminal. How long did
Runway
I...
02.
27
line up and wait.
seconds.
Air Portugal 934.
Terrible.
Taxi to terminal. Air Portugal 1542. Lisbon ground. Transavia 28 Lima ready to taxi.
Transavia 28 Lima, runway 02. We'll just leave it that way.
Runway 02. Transavia 28 Lima.
Not sure who's going to win the race, but we'll want to keep an eye out for that. Alright. So, got a little messed up again. My average delay is 3 seconds, so I'd say that's pretty darn good. I think the British Airways is going to win. Air Portugal 934, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff upon reaching altitude 500. Contact departure.
Runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff on reaching altitude 500.
Speedbird
Contact
59
departure.
Zulu,
Air Portugal
runway
934.
02, line up and wait. Air Portugal 1558, taxi to terminal.
Runway 02, line up and wait. Speedbird 59 Zulu. Taxi to terminal. Air Portugal 1558.
Transavia 28 Lima, runway 02, line up and wait. Okay.
Runway 02, line up and wait. Transavia 28 Lima.
Alright, so this one's got to leave, and we do have that Air Portugal that just vacated heading there. Oh, he's taking off. I was getting ready to clear him.
Lisbon Tower. Ryanair 3 November Mike on final 02.
Alright, we're going to let that one land. Ryanair 3 November Mike, runway 02, cleared to land. Okay, so that's an 1840.
Runway 02.
The
cleared to land.
1845
Ryanair 3
is
November
approaching.
Mike.
Now there's an 1850. There may be more than one. They're kind of at the bottom of my screen, so I can't see them yet. But yeah, this Air Portugal's going in there. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we go. But yeah, we can get one of these off for sure. But we're going to see now if they're considered delayed. And 1850 is the next departure, so there is... or no, I'm sorry. There is no other departure that I'm seeing. Alright, we should be able to go. Speedbird 59 Zulu, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff upon reaching altitude 500. Contact departure.
Runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff on reaching altitude 500. Contact departure. Speedbird 59 Zulu.
Air Portugal 1439, taxi to terminal. Alright.
Taxi to terminal.
I think
Air
this
Portugal
one still does need to
1439.
take off, so... Not quite sure. I'm not sure. I don't think we can get him off yet. I mean, because really, he should... I don't know. We'll try. Transavia 28 Lima, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff upon reaching altitude 500. Contact departure. Because, yeah, he took off, so now we're
Runway
good.
02, cleared for immediate takeoff on reaching altitude
And I
500.
think he's going in
Contact
there.
departure.
So
Transavia
even if
28
he were to
Lima.
call in,
Lisbon Tower.
he'll be
Air
parked.
Portugal 1035 on final 02.
Air Portugal 1035, runway 02, cleared to land. And that's the 1845.
Runway 02, cleared to land.
So
Air Portugal 1035.
there's one arrival at 1850 that should appear, so... But yeah, so a bunch... So we're at 24 of 38, in case you're wondering. But again, we've got a plane, 2 planes taxiing, 2 planes, well, 1 landing, 1 taking off. So now we're 25 of 38. But yeah, there is an Air France somewhere. I don't know where that one lives. We'll find out when it calls in. Alright, so KLM is still not landed. But yes, no other plane spotting? KLM 27 Golf, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. KLM 27 Golf.
So, there's potential problems with these, although this is an Air Portugal, so it's not an Air France, so... And that's an Air Portugal too, so I'm guessing it's that one there? But I don't know. But yeah, it's Air France is what should be leaving. Alright, so in a minute, we're going to have one on approach.
Lisbon ground, France 81 Kilo Quebec with information mic, requesting push and start.
Air France 81 Kilo Quebec, pushback approved, expect runway 02. Okay.
Pushback approved, expect runway 02.
He must have been there the whole
France 81
time.
Kilo Quebec.
Whoops. Because, yeah, that's... I don't remember him parking there. I thought he was gone. Now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, at least, departures that I see for 1855. This is an 1850, so it's not that big of an airport. We should be able to get them off pretty close to the hour, so that'll be okay. I don't see any arrivals at 1855 yet. Let me see. Ryanair 3 November Mike, taxi to terminal. Probably at a 1-second hold.
Negative. Invalid target. Ryanair 3 November Mike.
Ryanair 3 November Mike, taxi to terminal. Now it's longer. Yeah, 12
Taxi
seconds.
to terminal. Ryanair 3 November Mike.
I don't know how that one didn't work out that way, but it didn't. Alright, so he's going either there or there. I don't remember. Either way, he's gone. Now, okay, so there's a Transavia and a Ryanair that should be arriving that is not here. So that is interesting. I wonder why they're not spawning. I'm wondering if it's gates again, so... But yeah, there's 2 scheduled that I don't have.
Lisbon ground, France 81 Kilo Quebec ready to taxi.
Air France 81 Kilo Quebec, runway 02.
Runway 02, France 81 Kilo Quebec.
Lisbon Tower, Alpine 83 Whiskey uniform on final 02.
Alpine 83 Whiskey uniform, runway 02, cleared to land.
Runway 02, cleared to land. Alpine 83 Whiskey uniform.
Air France 81 Kilo Quebec, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff. Upon reaching altitude 500, contact departure. Because, yeah, right now... Whoops.
Runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff.
Air Portugal 1035, taxi to
500,
terminal.
contact departure. France 81 Kilo Quebec.
So we got
Taxi to
9-second
terminal.
delay
Air
there.
Portugal 1035.
So not being as clean as I could be, but I am rushing some things along here. So let's see, 1855. We're gonna. Whoops.
Lisbon ground. Air Portugal 38 Kilo Juliet with information Mike. Requesting push and start.
Air Portugal 38 Kilo Juliet, pushback approved. Expect runway 02.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 02. Air Portugal 38 Kilo Juliet.
Alright, so we've got 2 parking. So 3, we're at 29 handled. And yes, we just have, unless those 2 arrivals spawn, which they
Lisbon
certainly
ground,
could.
Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec with information Mike. Requesting push and start.
Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec, pushback approved. Expect runway 02. Okay.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 02.
And there's,
Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec.
so hopefully there won't be any conflicts on the way out. Now the question is, well, again, this isn't a challenge. I'm like, am I going to get to the runway in time? So I guess it ultimately doesn't matter. Because yes, we'll be able to go.
Lisbon ground, Easy 52 Golf Lima with information Mike. Requesting push and start.
Easy 52 Golf Lima, pushback approved. Expect runway 02.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 02. Easy 52 Golf Lima.
Okay, so these are going to both, that one with Ryanair and The Air Portugal are going to pop pretty quick, I would think. There we go, 31 of 38. One more scheduled to call in for our departures, and then we'll be set.
Lisbon ground. Alpine 46 November Whiskey with information, Mike. Requesting push and start.
Alpine 46 November Whiskey, pushback approved. Expect runway 02. Air Portugal 38 Kilo Juliet, taxi to runway 02.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 02. Alpine 46 November Whiskey. Taxi to runway 02. Air Portugal 38 Kilo Juliet. Lisbon ground. Air Portugal 38 Kilo Juliet ready to taxi.
No, they
ground.
are approaching.
Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec ready to taxi.
Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec, taxi to runway 02.
Taxi to runway 02. Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec.
Alright, so the 1840 is approaching, but late. So, you know, and again, this is tricky. I mean, the real schedule does have 4 of these coming in, but traffic, you know, approach would have to, or center, I guess, would have to coordinate them.
Lisbon ground. Easy 52 Golf Lima ready to taxi.
Alright, so I want to be careful, so I'm going to wait until they're aligned before I call them. Easy 52 Golf Lima, taxi to runway 02.
Taxi to runway 02. Easy 52 Golf Lima.
Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec, hold position. Air Portugal 38 Kilo Juliet, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff. Upon reaching altitude 500, contact departure. Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec, continue taxi.
Hold position. Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec.
Runway 02. Cleared for immediate takeoff. On reaching altitude 500. Contact departure. Air Portugal
Alpine
38 Kilo
83.
Juliet.
Alpine 83 Whiskey Uniform, taxi to terminal. How long was he holding?
Continue taxi. Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec.
Alpine 83 Whiskey Uniform, taxi to terminal.
Negative. Invalid target.
Alright, 43
Alpine
seconds,
83
so
Whiskey Uniform.
wasn't crazy, but it pulled
Taxi
my
to terminal.
total delay up to
Alpine
4
83
seconds.
Whiskey Uniform.
Lisbon ground. Alpine 46 November Whiskey ready to taxi.
Easy 52 Golf Lima, runway 02, line up and wait. Alpine 46 November Whiskey, taxi to runway 02. Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec, runway 02, line up and wait. Transavia 5951, runway 02, cleared to land. So yes, it will bring these all in.
Runway 02,
So
line up and wait.
the other one that
Easy
was
52
delayed
Golf Lima.
is
Taxi to
here.
runway 02. Alpine 46 November Whiskey.
Runway 02. Line up and wait. Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec.
Runway
Easy
02,
52
cleared
Golf
to
Lima,
land.
runway
Transavia
02,
5951.
cleared for immediate takeoff upon reaching altitude 500, contact departure.
Runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff on reaching altitude 500. Contact departure. Easy 52 Golf Lima. Lisbon Tower, Transavia 5951 on final 02.
Okay. Alpine 46 November Whiskey, runway 02, line up and wait.
Runway 02. Line up and wait. Alpine 46 November Whiskey.
Alright, so we did have a delay when I had to have him hold 14 seconds, so...
Lisbon Tower, Ryanair 74 Uniform Bravo on final 02.
Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff upon reaching altitude 500, contact departure.
Runway 02. Cleared for immediate takeoff on reaching altitude 500. Contact departure. Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec.
Alright. Alpine 46 November Whiskey, runway 02, line up and wait.
Runway 02. Line up and wait. Alpine 46 November Whiskey.
Ryanair Ryanair 74 Uniform Bravo, runway 02, cleared to land. Alpine 46 November Whiskey, runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff upon reaching altitude 500, contact departure.
Runway 02, cleared to land. Ryanair 74 Uniform Bravo.
Alright.
Runway 02, cleared for immediate takeoff. On reaching altitude 500,
So
contact
now
departure.
it's just
Alpine
getting these
46
two
November
in,
Whiskey.
and we will be done. And it's 1901, so again, because we had these two stacked, and obviously we have to get our folks that did take off in time. And again, nobody was set to leave at well, I guess we did have an 1855. There were a few, so, and I think that's when we started with 1755. So in theory, it did lump some things together a little more than we'd like. Where's the easy or Alpine? All right. So at this point, it's just getting everybody in. All right. Transavia 5951, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Transavia 5951.
All right. So gotta get them in, and that'll be it. Ryanair 74 Uniform Bravo, taxi to terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Ryanair 74 Uniform Bravo.
Alright, everybody's coming. They're both going over there. So, as soon as they get here and park, we'll be good. So, maybe 19... it won't quite be 1910. It's interesting that it's having me go that way, but that's the way it sent it. Yeah, we're barely in at 1912. We might not be in at 1912. That's 1912 right now, and so there we go. 1912-01. But we have 38 of 38 handled. So I would say that was, you know, to me, that's the same as when I run my day in the life for an hour, and then, you know, hey, we're going to clear everybody that's come in, and then we're going to change shifts or whatever. So I would think that worked appropriately. So again, if I go to the schedules, this was, yeah, LPPT, so it's completed. So that's the thing, like when you get them all done, there is the mark completed button, but you don't need to look at that. Look at that, 500 flights handled. Oh, we're still at 12, but our spotter score did go up, so let's see. All right, so we went to 680. Did we have more than, no, we didn't get more than 14 achievements, so to me that means LPPT needs more than what I had. Don't tell me LPPT was a user. No, okay, it did unlock, but, so I don't know. We must have had it. But see, this one's only 250, so yeah, we can get to silver a little quicker. Wow, we are right there. Because, yeah, I'm not sure if we earn quicker points, what happens, but the spotter score now, see, we went from 179 to 65 because we got 150 for a legendary, so that is awesome. So there it is. But yeah, it's like, I don't know how you'd know where they're at, but that is great. So, you know, if I can get, because uncommon's only 15, like this is like finding 10 of these, but there are 89 of these, so there's actually fewer rare than legendary, but legendary is obviously worth more, so that is a big deal. I mean, that, I'm in the top 100, so really cool. But the challenge becomes, I've only got 11 schedules remaining. I mean, I was initially thinking, well, I only needed like 6 or 7 schedules to get to level 10. Certainly 14 schedules will get me to level 20, but I'm beginning to wonder. But what I can do is I can run busier schedules at busier airports now, because again, this certainly wasn't, I mean, yes, had a little bit of lateness. You know, if I look at this, you know, 0.07 minutes, I think that is my best by far, yes. 0.29 is otherwise my best, because let's see, it doesn't let you sort other than most or least complete, but you can see I've run 9. Obviously that would make sense because we have 11 of 20 left. But yeah, we're gonna keep going, and you know, hopefully, I mean, the problem is I don't think, like, if everything's gonna take 75, because what I'm trying to figure out, 75 to 75 was, because yeah, I swear it was 500, and now, so it's like, did it take 100 to get to? So, I don't know. Because 75 and 75, it should have gotten me at 650. But no, I think it was 625. So maybe it was 550 that got me to 11. And then 11 to 12 was 75. And then again, it's 75 to get to 13. Because that's the thing. I mean, we'll be at 13 in 20. Which that we'll get next time. But I was figuring, so what I'd like to do is if I can do 75 or 80 points, it's just, like I said, where I get that is getting these additional things of being on time, you know, handling any type of flight. So in theory, everything counts twice. So like this should have given me, what, 76 points, which I think it did, because I think we were at 612. Or something like that, you know. And again, we might have gotten, you know, heavy metal master, because that's heavy. We definitely had some heavies, so we might have gotten a few in there. But like, you know, we're also not getting, I don't think, night owl or any of that. Who knows? It doesn't entirely matter. I mean, we see where we're at, but we've hit 500 flights, which is awesome. But I do like how this, you know, gives you information. So let's see. I think there's statistics somewhere. Oh no, that's the current airport activity. Personal log. Oh, here it is, statistics. So yeah, very little delay. I mean, I've been doing well, but 508, 9. Yeah, someone made a suggestion, get rid of the .0 because you're never going to be dealing with half a plane or something, which, yeah, that makes sense. I'm not quite sure why they are showing up that way. But 4 days active. And again, you can see the most common aircraft is a Boeing 737 series. All right, so right now, overall and monthly are the same because I haven't been there for more than a month, but obviously Boston's been my busy one. And then Eham and George Bush were very close. And so yeah, like the airport I just did, like we're no longer making nothing's making every chart now. So yeah, I love the fact that I found a legendary. I get another legendary, like heck, I could jump to the top. Who knows? But I'm sure there's people that are finding other things. But yeah, doing the slightly less popular or more obscure airports would help to probably find things, but yeah, I don't know. So, as always, if you've enjoyed this, haven't dropped a like or not a subscriber, please consider those things, and I will see you next time.